Picture this. It's a Monday morning, and I already know we're going to be late. We had a late night the night before, and my child is still asleep, but by this time, we're usually heading out the door to school. I'm bracing myself for a difficult morning. I go into my daughter's room and I grab an outfit and I throw it on her. She wiggles and whines. The pants are too tight. The shirt doesn't feel right. She begins taking off the clothes I just put on her, and I'm getting frustrated. We're going to be late. She gives me a big no. My voice is getting tense. You can pick something else out if you do it quickly. I'm doing my best to ignore and hide my growing anger and just focus on getting out the door. I finally get her dressed and downstairs, and she takes one look at her breakfast plate, which is apparently the wrong color, and she loses it. And so do I. Does this sound familiar? Before even entering my child's room, my nervous system was reacting to triggers that I wasn't consciously aware of. Parenting has this way of surfacing unexamined and unhealed parts of ourselves. Our children hold up a mirror to us, reflecting who we are. The question is, what will we do with that reflection? You see, that morning, I was anticipating big emotions and a difficult morning. I was bracing myself because of all the times as a child when my own emotions were too much. I was subconsciously remembering all the times my dad said growing up, if you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late, and being late is unacceptable. I was remembering the text message from the school the week before reminding parents to drop off their children on time so as not to disrupt the class. And I was remembering the feeling of disappointing my own teacher when I was in school. My child sensed all of that without me saying a word and reflected that back to me in a massive meltdown over the color of a plate. So, why does this happen? There are two really interesting systems here. There's the mirror neuron system and the autonomic nervous system. First, mirror neurons are these specialized cells in our brains that help us, that activate when we observe someone else's behavior. And these cells help us to learn and understand others' behaviors and emotions, essentially mirroring them back. Second, the autonomic nervous system is responsible for those fight, flight, and freeze responses. These are those split-second reactions that we need to keep us safe in dangerous situations. And the polyvagal theory says that our nervous system is constantly scanning the environment for cues of safety and cues of danger. Basically, these two systems help us to sense another person's internal state. And this happens through nonverbal communication. Our senses take in this information that other people send through their posture, through their facial expressions, through the tone of their voice, through the tension in their bodies. And then we process, interpret, and react based on this information. Dr. Dan Siegel is a professor of psychiatry and a renowned author and speaker, and he says that we are hardwired to perceive the mind of another human being. So, what I want us to consider is that in these moments of dysregulation with our children, they might actually be reflecting back to us our own dysregulation. They're sensing our stress, our tension, our unhealed wounds, and reflecting that back to us. Research shows that children can absorb their parents' stress even when we think we're hiding it. That means that even if we try to act calm or verbally reassure our children, they can still sense our stress. We're still communicating that stress. Now, yes, there are many reasons why children might have big emotions. We know that children are impacted by hunger, lack of sleep, sensory overstimulation, discomfort. But children's ability to regulate, especially for young children, is dependent on co-regulation. This means that children's ability to come down from intense emotions is dependent on how regulated we are. So yes, we can address those other factors, but it is so important that we're paying attention to our own responses and overreactions. Our reactions are telling us something about ourselves. When we're unaware of this, that we can communicate dysregulation back and forth, it is so easy to just overreact in heightened situations, and this usually just escalates the situation. This is what that dysregulation cycle can look like. The parent or child is triggered, the other reacts, then the first escalates, and that escalation just continues until sometimes we can use our power as the adult, as the parent, to shut down our children's emotions. Or we can shut down ourselves and disconnect and disengage from the relationship. When we overreact with yelling, threatening, and even withdrawing, our children absorb this behavior. But when we practice connecting with ourselves and then connecting with our children, regulating ourselves so that we can co-regulate, our children internalize this. You see, many of us carry patterns from our own childhoods into our parenting. If we grew up feeling unheard, we might have a really hard time validating our children's perspectives. If we grew up being punished or sent away for expressing big emotions, we might feel really uncomfortable when our children express big emotions. These challenging parenting moments, as difficult as they can be, are invitations to recognize our unhealed wounds and begin healing. So, what do we do when we're stuck in this dysregulation cycle? How do we embrace this healing in these challenging moments? Dr. Dan Siegel says that making sense of our past helps us change our future. I want to share with you 3 A's for embracing healing through these challenging parenting moments: awareness, acknowledgement, and acceptance. First, we bring awareness to our emotions and our physiological responses, those feelings in our bodies. Instead of ignoring them or shutting them down, we let ourselves feel. Second, we acknowledge by naming what we're feeling and why those feelings might be present. What emotions am I feeling? Where am I sensing that in my body? You see, when we can name these feelings, it actually helps to bring down the intensity of the dysregulation. And then we can get open and curious about why we might be feeling this way. What am I believing about this situation, about my child, about myself that might not be true? Third, we accept ourselves and our responses and our beliefs with compassion. It makes sense that we're overreacting in these situations that trigger us. We accept that that old belief is not true, and we accept what is true. Now, it might actually feel counterintuitive to feel our big emotions, especially in these tense moments with our children where we might be doing everything we can to control our own behavior while managing our children's behavior. Feeling our emotions might even feel scary and out of control. Many of us have learned to shut down and disconnect from our emotions and those physiological responses. But like a beach ball that we try to hold under the water, eventually those emotions will come to the surface with force. And remember what I said about our children being able to sense our stress even when we think we're hiding it? We can try to push down that anger or anxiety, but they can still feel it. And we can only hold it down for so long before it comes to the surface. What our children need in these moments is for us to connect with ourselves and then connect with our children. We need to communicate that regulation and that safety. This is co-regulation. So let's go back to that morning and do a do-over. I'm getting ready and I'm feeling anxious about the morning ahead. I'm worrying about the late night that we had the night before. I'm bracing myself for all the big emotions. But then I pause and I place my hand on my chest and I bring awareness to how I'm feeling. I take a deep breath in and let the air fill my lungs as my belly expands. I release it slowly. I'm feeling tension in my chest and in my throat. I'm feeling anxious about my daughter's mood. I'm believing that I can't handle her big emotions. I'm feeling ashamed that we're going to be late. I'm believing that they'll think I'm a bad mom. I'm feeling embarrassed that we're going to disrupt the class. I'm believing that I'm a disappointment. It makes sense that I'm having such a big internal reaction. These unconscious and ingrained patterns and beliefs are being triggered on just another Monday morning. But as I examine those beliefs, that I can't handle it, that I'm a bad mom, that I'm a disappointment, I feel compassion for myself. And I recognize that these beliefs are not true, and I don't need to be held captive to them anymore. So, what is the truth? I wrap my arms around myself and connect inward. The truth is, I can handle big emotions. The truth is, I am doing my very best as a mom and a human being. The truth is, I am so proud of how far I've come. Now, when I enter my daughter's room, I am confident, present, and safe, and she feels that. There are emotions expressed, but they're met with compassion. We are late for school, but it doesn't have any bearing on who I am as a mom or a person. When we understand this, we can shift out of that dysregulation cycle of unconscious reactivity and respond differently. We can choose to be the parent that we needed when we were a child. This shift changes us, and it allows us to leave a new legacy of emotional safety for our children. Parenting is about more than raising children. It is a path to becoming our truest selves. Because in the end, our children aren't just learning from us, they're showing us who we are and who we have the potential to become. Thank you.